Hello friends, welcome to Department of Plant Pathology, KDSP Agriculture College Nasik. In last lecture, we have seen all the diseases of wheat, their life cycle, their symptoms, their etiology and its management. In this lecture, we are going to start diseases of sugarcane. In that first is sugarcane red rot. Red rot of sugarcane is a fungal disease and its causal organism is Colitrichum falcatum. This is a sexual stage of this fungus and its sexual stage is known as Glomerella tucumanensis or Phaseolosphaera tucumanensis. So these are both the names given to single pathogen. It comes under phylum Ascomycota, class Sordaromycetes, order Glomerelles and family Glomerulaceae. In genus there is Colitrichum or Glomerella. So this is all about classification of this Colitrichum falcatum. This red rot has been reported from all cane producing regions, but it is usually a major problem in subtropical countries such as southern United States, India and southern Queensland. In India, first report of this red rot is given by Butler, E.J. Butler in 1906, while in Gujarat it was first time reported from South Gujarat during 1993 in COC variety. The approximate losses may range from 25 to 80% and sugar recovery may also reduced in severe infection of this red rot. This is a national problem and it is known as cancer or devastating disease of sugarcane. Breeding for resistance is being done for this disease at SBI, that is Sugarcane Breeding Institute, which is situated at Coimbatore. Here you can see the symptoms of this red rot disease. The first symptom of red rot in the field is discoloration of young leaves. That means if there is an initiation of this disease, the first stage in this disease is discoloration of young leaves. The margin and tips of the leaves wither and the leaves droop down. The discoloration and withering continues from tip to the leaf base until the whole crown withers and the plant dies within 4 to 8 days. In a single stool, most of the stalks may wither almost simultaneously. The discoloration may also found on rind of the canes also. Ultimately, this leads to cane rotting. When a diseased plant is open, it emits a characteristic acid sour odor. The tissues are reddened throughout the basal portion, especially vascular bundles, which are intensely red. These may cross white patches erupting the reddening tissues. Since reddening is a common problem of other diseases of sugarcane, white patch symptom is the most important diagnostic character. As the disease advances, the entire stem rots and the central tissues become pithy. The internode may shrink due to the severe infection of this pathogen, and it's often profuse with whitish growth of fungal mycelium, and you can easily identify this whitish growth of fungal mycelium in the center, and pithy tissues may appear brown after the infection. In some cases, black minute bodies representing the acervuli of the fungus, which can be seen on infected portion as you can see in this image. The disease may also found in association with wilt and pineapple disease of sugarcane. So these are all about the symptomatology of this red rot of sugarcane. This pathogen also produces minute red spots on the center of the midrib in the both directions, from forming small or long lesions. The lesions are initially blood red with dark margin and later on with a straw colored center. The infected leaves may break at the lesions and hang down with large number of minute black dots. This fungus produces thin, hyaline, septate, profusely branched hyphae containing oil droplets. The fungus produces black minute velvety acervuli with long rigid bristle-like septate pointed city on the surface of rind, leaf midrib and sometimes in the pith region. As you can see in the image, there is the blackish color portion showing the city which where arises from the acervulus. The conidiophore are closely packed inside the acervulus, which are short, hyaline and single-celled. The conidia are single-celled, hyaline and falcate. So these are some characters of this pathogen. You can see the microscopic pictures here. 5 pathotypes of the fungus have been reported for this disease. In general, light-colored physiological races sporulate readily and are more virulent than the dark-colored strains that sporulate sparsely. Perfect stage of the fungus produces large number of globules and dark brown to black perithecia with a papillate ostiole. Asci are clavate, unitinicate and 8 spored were present inside the ascus. Large number of hyaline, septate, filiform paraphyses were also present among these asci. Ascospores are ellipsoid or fusoid, hyaline, straight or slightly curved, and unicellular. So these are some microscopic characters of this pathogen. This disease favored by high humidity, waterlogging conditions, ill-drained soil, lack of proper cultural operations, then monoculturing and rotuning. These are some major factors that makes it vulnerable to attack of diseases. So we have called it as a predisposing factors or favorable factors. In case of disease cycle, the planting material, that is seeds, it may have fungal spores or fungal mycelium that perpetuates the disease from infected portion to healthy portion, as well as one season to another season also. The fungus may also persist in the soil on diseased clumps in dry leaves left behind on ground also. The primary infection of this red rot occurs from infected seeds only. In soil, the fungus can survive as in the form of conidia or in the form of chlamydospores up to the 6 months, and the rotuning of this diseased crop leads to survival and reoccurrence of the disease to the next season. So the major factor to avoid the disease is to use healthy seeds, or seeds should be treated with proper chemicals or proper method should be followed to control primary infection of this disease. In case of secondary infection in the field, it may occur through irrigation water, raindrops and cultivation tools, implements and wind-borne inoculum. If the conidia settle on the leaves, they may germinate and invade the leaf through various types of wounds, including the splitting of midrib. Stem infection may take place through insect borer and root primordia also. The soil-borne fungus may also enter the healthy seeds through cut ends and cause early infection of the shoots. Though the perfect stage of the fungus has been observed in the nature, the role of ascospore in the disease cycle has been understood yet. So this is all about the characters of this pathogen. We have to use proper management practices to control this disease. In that, we have to apply all integrated control disease management practices. For that, deep plowing during summer is very important to restrict the growth of this pathogen or disturbing the life cycle of this pathogen. Similarly, selection of healthy seeds, preferably from 10 months old crops. Infected seeds should be discarded. Tissue seedling can also be used for growing seed nursery. Then we have to follow the set treatment, that is thermotherapy. In thermotherapy, there are two types of treatment: aerated steam treatment, which is given at 50 degrees Celsius for 2 hours, and then set steeping in the MEMC, that is emission, or you can dip the sets in carbendazim also for 10 minutes. After that, you can use for sowing purpose. The next method is hot water treatment. In that, you can dip the seeds at 52 degrees Celsius for 11 minutes. This will kill the spores which were present inside the seeds. Similarly, we have to avoid waterlogging condition. That means we have to facilitate the proper drainage facility should be provided in the field. Then judicious use of irrigation and fertilizer should be done. That is more nitrogen fertilizer, especially urea, and flood irrigation leads to the development of this disease. Similarly, there are few points, that is crop rotation with paddy, if there is feasible it should be done. Intercropping with coriander, soybean and mustard in somewhat how it controls the diseases at primary level. Avoid ratoon crops. If possible, make early cutting to avoid more spreading. Do not allow water from infected field to the healthy field. Then you can also grow the resistant varieties like CO6806, CO87263. These are some resistant varieties which were found effective against this red rot of sugarcane. Then we can also use biological control methods. In that, we have to use Trichoderma viride, Cleopladem virens, Deuterium globosum. This should be multiplied in the fresh mud at the rate of 8 tons per hectare, and it should be applied inside the field. Then you can also apply organic manures like castor cake, neem cake or poultry manures at the rate of 3 to 4 tons per hectare. So this is all about management of this red rot of sugarcane. Thanks for watching this video. In next lecture we will study the wilt of sugarcane.